So what happens when the money in your bank account, your life savings, just becomes worthless overnight? Today we're diving into how people in two different countries, both in the middle of a total financial collapse, are finding a lifeline. And spoiler alert, it's not coming from their governments.
And listen, this isn't some abstract history lesson. This is the brutal daily reality for millions of people. I mean, just imagine waking up every single morning and the money you had when you went to sleep is now worth less. Everything you've worked for is just evaporating.
You know, what's happening in Iran today is this chilling echo of what started happening in Lebanon back in 2019. It's like we're watching the exact same playbook unfold. A currency in total freefall, banks literally locking their doors, and ordinary people just scrambling, desperately looking for anything that can hold its value.
Okay, so to really get the solution that people are turning to, we first have to understand the problem. And for both of these countries, it really boils down to the same toxic mix: crippling sanctions, absolutely devastating inflation, and a national currency that's become, well, pretty much worthless. Then you have to remember, for the people who are actually living through this, these are not just numbers on a screen. This is a frantic, day-to-day struggle to buy bread, to get gas for your car, to find medicine, all while the money in your pocket is losing value by the hour. But you see, hyperinflation, that's only part of the story. The real catastrophe, the moment things go from bad to an absolute nightmare, is when the one institution you were always taught to trust with your money, the bank, just slams the door shut in your face.
Okay, just try to put yourself in this situation. Your savings are in US dollars, so you think, okay, I'm safe. But then you go to the bank and they tell you, no, you can't have your dollars. Instead, they force you to take out your money in the local currency at some bogus official rate that's a tiny fraction of what it's actually worth on the street. Decades of work, just gone.
And I mean, just think about the sheer scale of that loss. In Lebanon, policies like this wiped out over 90% of the value of people's savings. A lifetime of work, a business, a retirement, just vanished.
And when that kind of pressure hits, the fabric of society just starts to tear. Simple things, like waiting in line at an ATM, turned into screaming matches, even fights. Protests erupted everywhere. But the most important thing that happened? All faith, all trust in the entire financial system was completely destroyed, seemingly overnight.
So, the official system is in total ruins. What do? Well, a desperate nationwide search kicked off for absolutely anything that could reliably hold its value.
And that really is the crucial question, isn't it? When the banks have failed you, the government has failed you, and the currency itself has failed you, where on earth can you put your money to protect it? The search for that answer forced people to start looking way outside of the box, far beyond any government-controlled system.
And this, right here, is where the whole story takes a massive pivot. For so many people in Lebanon, and now as we're seeing in Iran, Bitcoin stopped being some speculative niche internet thing. It became the only viable financial lifeboat left. It became a straight-up tool for survival.
And get this, this wasn't some top-down movement led by institutions or big corporations. No way. What emerged was a completely grassroots solution, built from the ground up by regular people who were literally left with no other choice.
In Lebanon, people basically created their own underground economy. They used encrypted messaging apps to form these peer-to-peer trading groups. That's just people trading directly with other people. No company in the middle, completely bypassing the frozen banks. This is how they got money from family abroad and even found local shops that would accept it for groceries. But what really makes this entire parallel economy work is one single core principle: self-custody. Now, it's a fancy-sounding term, but it's a simple and revolutionary idea. You, and only you, have absolute control over your funds. It works because you hold your own private keys. Think of them like a super-secret password that lets you spend your money. No bank, no third party, just you.
You better believe the Lebanese people learned this lesson the hard way. They saw that if you leave your money with the bank can take it. And they quickly realized the same thing applies in the crypto world. If you don't personally hold the keys to your Bitcoin, you're just trusting someone else. Again, the crisis forced them to learn that true ownership means your keys, your coins. Period.
Now, what's so incredible is that this intense real-world education didn't just stay in Lebanon. It basically created a survival guide, a clear and effective playbook that people in Iran are now using as they face the exact same kind of economic collapse.
We are literally watching a real-time transfer of knowledge from one crisis to another. Those peer-to-peer networks, that intense focus on self-custody, the tricks to getting money across borders, all these survival tactics that were figured out on the fly in Lebanon are now being deployed in Iran as people race against the clock to protect whatever they have left.
And all of this brings us to what might be the most powerful takeaway in this whole story, because this is about so much more than just finding an alternative to a broken currency. This is about a fundamental shift in who holds the power.
We're talking about a financial system where you, the individual, are in charge. You don't have to ask anyone for permission to send or receive money. There are no borders that can stop it. And, most importantly, when you hold your own keys, you remove the risk that a bank or a government can just wake up one day and decide to freeze, devalue, or straight up confiscate your wealth.
This quote just perfectly captures the spirit of what's happening. A Satoshi, by the way, is just the smallest little piece of a Bitcoin, kind of like a cent is to a dollar. The point is, it's not about waiting for some hero or for the old system to magically fix itself. It's about regular people taking action, rebuilding their financial freedom from the ground up, one small piece at a time.
And so in the end, these crises force all of us to think about a really fundamental question. When the institutions you were supposed to trust just completely fall apart, what does it truly mean to own something? And what is your money really worth if at the end of the day, someone else can stop you from using it?